So my friend Brian was telling me that he thinks this game has some of the worst controls ever, and I am about to prove him right. I actually think the Dragon Punch is the easiest move to do in this game, but anyway, what the point of this video is, once again, I'm approaching the summer, and I'll be doing some educational reading. See, I can do Dragon Punches all day, but I think Fireball and Hurricane Kick are the hardest moves in this game, but I can Dragon Punch all day. Well, the last one I tried to do, I got destroyed at Sagat. I beat him, but like it just became harder to Dragon Punch. I don't know. Let me try the Fireball. Ball of Fire. Okay. I'm gonna need the Fireball against Mike. That's the funny thing. That's actually the one fight. Because he, like in Street Fighter 2, Mike is a rectangle. A giant vertical rectangle that's hard to hit. But, oh yeah, Geki is pretty much Dragon Punch fodder also. I'm gonna try to Fireball again though. See if I can get a special move, like every special move in this game. Oh wow, I did it. It's active. Man, imagine if regular Street Fighter had this. See if I can do a Fireball. Let's do it. Again, I really do think the Dragon Punch is the easiest special. Oh god. What is this? What is happening? Well, I see Ibuki's predecessor, although not even directly related. They're not related, but that's my knowledge anyway. But I see like even people throwing stuff in Street Fighter 1, they maintain that continuity that if you throw an object at someone, that I did it. If you throw an object at someone that's not from your hands, like in terms of a wave force of air, then you'll knock it out just by tapping it with your fist. But yeah, little known fact about Street Fighter 1 is that it's a dramatization, or at least the last boss segment is a dramatization of the rivalry between Kyokushin Karate and, well, Muay Thai. And in about 1964, there was this debate in Asia between who had the strongest striking martial art. And Kyokushin Karate was, they won. They sent 3 practitioners, one of which was just a substitute that the other guy couldn't make it. Ryu is supposed to be based off Masoyama. Now, the whole reason I know this isn't because I'm the scholar. My friend Eddie is the one that told me about it. Power. Wow. He's a historian, a Japanese... Well, I think he specializes in Japanese history, but he had basically told me about that. And then I did sort of a... It kind of affirmed a lot of the things that I had inferred by myself. That it was about competition. I just had no idea it was about a real-life competition. Oh god. I'm trying to Fireball. I'll take it. Huh. It feels like I'm doing a half circle forward to do that. But whatever, I'll take it. But yeah, I guess you could probably Google or Wikipedia. I have to study it myself, but that's probably one thing you're not gonna find on major sites. This actually has historical context. I am doing a half circle forward to do that move. That's funny. Ball of Fire. All right. So I don't have the Japanese version of this game, so I can't hear the Hadouken. Sure you can. I've always been curious if he says Tatsumaki Senpu Kyaku, but whatever. Oh, here we go. I guess the reason though that I bring up the Thailand sort of Muay Thai versus Kyokushin rivalry is that Street Fighter wasn't just constructed, like someone just didn't decide that, oh, well, we should have karate versus Muay Thai, that's a good idea. No game is constructed that way, I would argue. But we kind of take that for granted in gaming these days, where it's just like, yeah, you know, you just You just put stuff together and you know what happens. That's how you make a good game. The story doesn't matter. Someone had to decide that these fighters were gonna, you know, function a certain way. So it doesn't make sense to just be like, yeah, we'll just do it for no reason. I mean, the metaphor, like the rivalry, kind of got more it became more about itself and less about the actual historical rivalry, like Street Fighter, that is. Like, it began to take on notions of how when Kyokushin Karate won, like that battle between Muay and itself, it got really popular, and a lot of people wanted to learn like Kyokushin style, Kyokushin Ryu. And the issue is that when you have a, like, maybe you can do the, like, maybe you can envision this for yourself, but if you have to rival Muay, that means that you have to be a very brutal striking martial art. I'm having some input drops, but you have to have a very brutal striking martial art to combat that. And I think it's very telling that there's a lot of parallels in Street Fighter story where Gouken is teaching a non-lethal version of Ansatsuken, because they can't call it Kyokushin, you know, they're not going to. I'm really hoping my inputs don't drop again on Sagat, because that's irritating. But yeah, Masayamu, who Ryu is based on, from what I'm told, although they look nothing alike, he's purported to train in waterfalls and all that, sort of like Ryu, sort of like Sagat, in terms of like them being staged as rivals. Dragon and Tiger, Muay and Karate. Well, anyway, going back to the point I was making, they quote-unquote dumbed down Kyokushin so that people weren't breaking each other's bones and giving themselves concussions. But Masayamu is quoted as saying, it's all but useless. And this sort of reflects like Akuma in the story. Like, Akuma is like an old-style practitioner of this karate, but he fights when his personal code dictates that in a one-on-one fight, he's going to fight to the death. Or I guess this serves as a metaphor for, like, I'm going to use what my martial art is for. But Ryu uses fighting as communication, which is what, you know, the whole teaching people Kyokushin Karate in the first place was about. Oh my god, he's number one. Yeah. I thought I could talk over this, but for whatever reason, when I talk, it becomes harder to actually do the move. Oh god. Dragon Punch. Yep. Whew. It's exactly like Street Fighter 2. Well, not in terms of leniency, but strategy. But yeah, like, Akuma serves as that metaphor. Like, I highly doubt anyone's talking about that. Dragon Punch. Oh god. Active frames, save me. Yes! Hit in the face with my knee, the best. But yeah. So we already see that, like, you have this video game that takes apart a history and dramatizes it into a new form, a new experience. I mean, that's clearly, like, a part of the experience, like, being able to see that kind of detail. But yeah, it's not just, someone just didn't decide, like, oh yeah, you know, Street Fighter. Someone had to have a concept for the game, and, you know, why not history? Like, even in the way that people, like, stream Street Fighter, they've become derivatives of the very thing that they're, you know, trying to represent. And to say that the story doesn't matter in that case, it's like, well, look at how you try to represent it. You use the imagery from the game. So who's being insincere here? Like, I was on a news group's post from like 2001, and there are people saying like the story of Street Fighter doesn't matter. You have all this paraphernalia, like that's just blatant dishonesty. It can make you cynical, but whatever. I'm having a lot of fun playing this. It's kind of funny, although I imagine if I didn't know how to exploit it, then I'd not be having any fun. 8,000 points. Oh man, Thailand. Add-on's gonna be the easiest, because he's just gonna try to Jaguar kick me. Jagger! Man. just like Alpha. Well, no, Adon was good. He was really good in Alpha 1. Kind of got toned down on Alpha 2, but he's still kind of fun there. Alpha 3, don't really... Alpha 3 is not much of my thing in terms of knowing how to play it. Dude, I tried to throw a fireball there. But not on the last Dragon Punch, but the standing jabs or the light punches, whatever you want to call it, those were fireball attempts. But don't forget, there are many guys like you all over the world. So here's Ryu versus Sagat, and I know I've had other videos in the past, but if you feel like watching 15 to 20 minutes of a guy talking about nothing, there's me. There we go. Ah, the scar. I mean, canonically, it makes sense that Sagat has a scar because this is the only move I can do in this game consistently. But yeah, Sagat gets an uppercut after this. You hit him with a move and just like actual competition within the game, someone's going to try to do that move right back to you. Seth Killian. But there you go. Dragon Punch. Not Fireball, not Hurricane Kick. The Dragon Punch is the easiest move to do in this game. Those other ones are hard. Greatest Street Fighter in the world. But yes. So, I know I had a recording uploaded earlier, but I figured I'd at least... It's more interesting to hear me talking than, like, watching me play in silence. Although it does show that, you know, once you move to another form, trying to communicate the game by playing it in front of someone, it's going to become something else. So, at the very least, I hope this sort of shoddy play can at least be somewhat interesting. I'll be getting into video editing this summer, unlike last summer where I got hit by a car and then I've been dealing with legal problems related to getting the settlement. But that's another story. But yes, I wonder if I can spot Keiji Inafune in I guess in the credits. Like a lot of the guys that made this game, a lot of them they went on to make if he's in there I wouldn't recognize him, but a lot of the guys that made this game went on to make Art of Fighting. So I feel like Japan has a generally different regard to like copyright than I guess we do. Like we would call like Art of Fighting a knockoff here, but variation, I feel like they were a little more open to that. But yeah, that's Street Fighter. And Brian, shout outs to you. Dragon Punch is easier. Alright, see ya.